Well, this episode is pretty exciting. We go from Antibes all the way across to the Balearic Islands. I get guests on board, and on the way we get 5 metre seas. Wowee. Right, I got my maintenance done for the day, which was cool. And Hubert and Barbara off the Celine 53 have invited me over for dinner. So I'm going to head over there. It's a little bit going forward just to get the boat a little bit closer to the centre of the drag circle. Here we go. Pays to transfer the power down to here first, Mark. There we go, going forward. Gears engaged, that's always a good sign. And we'll bring the anchor up. And then all we're going to do is head across the bay at Antibes. They're only about 10 minutes away at the other marina. So I'll shoot over there, drop anchor. Bit of wind coming up to 30 knots. So I'll be tying down the bimini. Still not particularly comfortable about that. Trying to get some stainless steel. Go out for dinner tonight and see where we go from there. What a wreck of a boat. Just parked out here in the middle of Antibes Bay. Or Galice Bay, which is part of Antibes out there to the starboard. And the boat's name is Protonus. I'm going to see what I can find out about it, but look at that old tub. Alright, so today is Friday, 15th of November. Yeah, I got my head around that. I'm still in Antibes and been holed up here for 4 days, bit of inclement weather around, but I'm going to get underway today heading south. We'll talk about where and how far once we get on to that, but because it's been 4 days since I've been anywhere, and also I've done quite a bit of work down here in the engine room, I want to give it a really good going over before we head off, just to make sure that everything is okay. So if you remember, we did oil changes on the engine, so effectively just making sure that the new oil filters and the fuel filters that I've put in don't have any liquid around them or leaks, and we've run the engines quite a bit. I did about a half-hour run the other day just to give everything a going over. So there's nothing looking untoward there. Under the engines, it's all clear. A little bit of oil down there, but I know I spilt a little bit too, so I'll clean that up in the next day or so. Obviously going to check the oil levels, and we'll check the water level or the coolant level. Probably the most important thing, I don't do it on a daily basis, simply because I know I never go in there, but I have been in there over the last few days, so I just want to check that the seacocks are in fact open. So that seacock's open, no problem there, and I'll check the starboard one as well. Just have a general look around the engine room, make sure there's no stuff left lying around that shouldn't be. I took one of the covers, or tried to take one of the covers off the belt, the guards, to protect it, but I was missing a socket. I need a 23mm socket and I don't have one. So I've got one of those on order, so that should be here shortly. Just check all these units that I worked on, just to make sure that everything is nice and secure. Everything's shut off here in the oil transfer system. I worked down the back here around the water. There's no leaks around there. That's all looking good. If you remember, I tied all the electrical stuff up for the solar. Haven't left anything around there that shouldn't be there. And that's pretty good down here, really. Everything else is nice and secure. The weather's really nice out there today. If the weather's not so nice, I put things like this down right in the midships, in the lower area down there. Yeah, I think it's all looking good. I'll have a look in the bilge just to see what's going on down there. Nothing untoward down there. I want to give that a bit of a clean out as well if I can. But no, engines are or the engine room, is all looking good. I'll put these the Raycor polishing filters down just to see where they go today when we run the engines. Anyway, it's about a 2-hour run, so it'll be a good check for everything, and I will come down a couple of times underway just to have a look. So, yep, all good in the engine room. Hey, channel 16 set up on the portable VHF because the Cortex up here is not working. I'm on to Garmin about that. Anyway, we're pretty much smack in the middle of our drop circle for the anchor drag. So we're sitting right over where the anchor is in theory, so I can just bring it up pretty easily. Got 19 miles to run today. You can see the weather looks pretty good and looks nice and, oh excuse me, flat and calm out there. Just a bit of a tug to get it out of the mud. There's a little bit more work to do when you're on your own. Sometimes you just got to pop up and down just to check on where things are at. Right, there we go. Alright, we're away. Gorgeous, gorgeous day, look. So it's worth hanging around for 3 or 4 days. Really don't need to go when the weather's not particularly nice. Still got these strops in place here. I've had them in for the last 4 days. The wind got up to about 30 knots, so once they're underway I'll take those down again. The forecast for the next few days is pretty good. So here we are here on Antibes. So the town of Antibes is basically in here. We were over in the marina over there with Renee and Alice, and then I've moved around to here and I've been at anchor here for the last 4 days, as I say. And today just going 19 anchor drag alarm. We'll change the alarm, we'll turn that off. We know about that. Today we are heading down to Saint-Raphal. And as I say, it's only 19 miles away, so about probably 3.5, 4 hours tops. Forecast is basically for swells below 500 mil, and the wind dropping from 7 knots down to about 2 or 3. So it should be good, and it's going to be like that for the next couple of days. And I'll be in Saint-Raphal tomorrow night for the rugby game between the All Blacks and France. So that could be interesting. I'm going to go and find a pub where I can have my dinner and watch that game. Be very vocal about the fact that I'm supporting the Kiwis, the All Blacks. So that should be a great night. And then my mate Vince arrives on Sunday, and hopefully we'll start heading towards Saint-Tropez and across to the Balearic Islands, where I've got another couple of friends coming from New Zealand. So yeah, busy couple of weeks ahead, I think. Anyway, gorgeous day to go out boating. And a bit of snow still left on the hills in the back there. There was quite a bit the other day. They're actually white. You won't be able to see them, but yep, winter's on its way, that's for sure. Right, and now I am coming into Saint-Raphal, and it's basically just a little town halfway between Nice or Antibes and Saint-Tropez. This is where I'm going to meet Vince, and it was just beautiful, lovely little island off to the left hand side. Shame you weren't allowed to anchor there, but they're all guys fishing in behind it. Be a beautiful spot just to go and fish with the locals. But you can see ahead here on the right the little boat, so I went and anchored there first and got moved on, summarily moved on actually. Lovely young lady came over in the tender that was looking after the sailors and said, you cannot anchor here. On navionics on the chart plotter. There was an anchor sign there, but no point in arguing with the locals, so just had to move over a little bit to the starboard there. Right, good morning. I'm in Saint-Raphal. Tonight is rugby night. France versus the All Blacks, so 16th of November. Anyway, winter is approaching because I have a wet tender seat this morning. So I'm standing, yes, and I have got my kill switch on. And I'm going to shoot into the tender, into the marina, because I want to find out where I can go and watch the rugby tonight. I want to get rid of some rubbish. And of course, I want a cup of coffee. Little Awanui NZ all tied up, and the Capitane came out to see me, and he was really nice. He was more than happy for us to tie up at the marina. No spaces tonight. I was going to see if I could come in here, but can't. So now I'm off to see if I can find out where the rugby is and have my coffee. Welcome to Saint-Raphal. Not bad, huh? Found somewhere for the rugby too, the Rooster. Haha, I shall go and make a booking. Have a nice French dinner tonight, hopefully, and a good game of rugby. What could be better? Alright. Okay, so I've had a few people on the channel just ask for just a few details about my life. Where it came from, where I was born, what I did during my life. So I thought through the next episode we might just intersperse a little bit about that for those that are interested. So I was born in Upper Hutt. Upper Hutt. We lived in Timarua, which is just outside of Upper Hutt, and Upper Hutt's just outside of Wellington, about an hour's drive away up the valley towards the Wairarapa on the North Island. I was born 26 September 1961, which officially makes me a baby boomer. So right at the tail end of the baby boomers. Mum and Dad immigrated from England, Mum from London, Dad from Birmingham in 1957, and that was 12 years after the war. England, Europe, still a pretty negative place to be in a way. Obviously a lot of building going on, and Dad was a bit of an academic scientist, microbiologist, so he just saw New Zealand as being an opportunity and convinced Mum it was the thing to do. Mum later on in life said if she had a time again she wouldn't have come, but Dad kind of sold it to Mum as the South Pacific island, and they sailed into Wellington Harbour in the middle of a storm, so I don't think Dad was too popular then. I was a foundation pupil at Plateau School. Amazing now, that school's been there 55 years, so it's funny the things you do in life, and it was a big event then, whereas now it's just another primary school. Yeah, so after that, my brother, he was 3 years older than me. He was born in 58, quite handicapped, or challenged, I guess is the politically correct term these days. Brett was very much mentally younger than his years, very poorly coordinated, and he got pretty angry about that because he had enough mental ability to realise that his younger brother was doing a lot of things that he couldn't do and wanted to do, and I think he found that pretty frustrating, so he used to get pretty angry with me. So Mum and Dad decided I'd go to boarding school, or they offered me the opportunity to go to boarding school. I said yep, and at the age of 11 I went to Hadlow School over in the Wairarapa, full-time boarder, only went home twice a term. I didn't cope well with that. It was a lot tougher than I thought. Very old-fashioned preparatory school. Like, give you an example, you get up in the morning, go for a run, and then you get back to the swimming pool, and the housemasters would make you strip off. You were not allowed to wear togs. You had to go into the pool naked. These days, just incredible. Anyway, so I decided I was going to run away from school, which I did when I was 11 years old. And the Wairarapa, or Hadlow School's about, I don't know, 40, 50 kilometres from home. So I basically hitchhiked my way back to Timarua, walked in the door, Mum and Dad were just sitting there. The school had told them I'd run away. Nobody came looking for me. Mum and Dad just figured sooner or later I'd turn up, which I did. And I had to go back. But in the end, I just wasn't happy there. Said to Mum and Dad, if you don't take me away, I'm gonna run away again. I got in a bit of strife with the headmaster there because, you know, I'd escaped from Colditz effectively, and it was sort of the talk of the boarding school, and everybody wanted some advice on how to do it, and I basically got told by the headmaster if I didn't shut up, I was in big trouble. Anyway, decided I wanted to leave, didn't like the full-time boarding, so that was when Mum and Dad sent me to Scots College in Wellington, and I could be a weekly boarder there, so I went home every weekend. Yeah, and that was a lot better. Wasn't really an academic. I did struggle with the academic side of things, not so much understanding it, just, I don't know, it just wasn't me, I guess. So I stayed there. I mean, it was amazing. I used to get the train on a Sunday night. Mum and Dad would drop me at the Upper Hutt railway station. I'd get on the train, I'd go back on a Sunday night to Wellington railway station, get the bus out to Seatoun, often get off in Courtney Place. McDonald's was brand new then, and I'd go to McDonald's, get a burger, and then eventually I'd find my way back to Scots College at about 8 o'clock at night. I mean, you just, you know, you imagine that now, an 11-year-old doing that, or 12-year-old probably by then. Anyway, I stayed there until I was 17. Oh, going back a bit, when I was 6, Mum and Dad wanted to take us back home to the UK to meet the family and grandparents, so we went by ship. You didn't fly much then, and so we went by ship halfway around the world, had 3 months in England, and then came back the other way and went through the Panama Canal, and that's kind of been on my bucket list to go through the Panama Canal again, so we're going to do that in Awanui NZ. Got to halfway through the 7th form, decided school was not for me. I didn't want to go to university. I could see that was looming, and, you know, cut a long story short, I decided I was going to go and learn to fly. So just promptly told Mum and Dad I wanted to leave school. They didn't step in my way, and off I went learning to fly at the Wellington Aero Club. And yeah, we'll carry it on in a minute. Okay, Saint-Raphal, there's Awanui NZ sitting out there in the bay, and Ferris wheel. Every seaside town just kind of has to have one, eh? Well, lovely day here in Saint-Raphal. I've got a place I can watch the rugby tonight, but no volume because I've got karaoke on. So I'm going to go there for dinner, 8 o'clock, and the rugby's on at 9. So fingers crossed it will be on the TV, because it's, I suspect, pay to view. I hope they know that. Anyway, I'll go there and check that out. Anyway, carrying on. Only thing of note before I was about 18 and left school was used to go out riding on a bike a lot, and a mate and I were out and rode past this wrecker yard, and there's a car parked outside it. It'd been in a bit of a ding, not too bad. Window was broken, and I pinched the radio out of it. I needed a radio for my little Austin van I had. In a moment of stupidity, I pulled it out. About 4 hours later, I realised what I'd done and decided, oh, that's no good. So I put it in a brown paper bag and walked into the Upper Hutt police station and stuck it on the counter and rang the bell. The policeman came out. I said, oh, g'day. I said, I'm returning this. He said, what do you mean you're returning that? I said, oh, it's a car radio. I stole it out of a car over in Porirua. He said, you sure you want to do this, mate? And I said, yep. Bold as brass. I was going to do it. And he said, okay then. So about an hour later, Dad was there, and the cop gave me a bit of a dressing down. Dad got a phone call about an hour later. They contacted the wrecker's yard, and the guy said, I think the kid's learned his lesson, and they chose not to go anywhere with it. You don't realise what the repercussions of something like that, if it did end up in a conviction of any sort, could have on your future life. Anyway, So that was that. So left school and went and got a job in a shipping company working down on the wharf, and I loved it. I loved working on the wharf. I used to have sausages, chips and eggs for breakfast, fish and chips for lunch or dinner. I'd have 3 cooked meals a day. I never put a bloody ounce of weight on. It's weird, doesn't matter what I eat, it never happens. Anyway, did that for 2 or 3 years. I was earning $50 a week clear in the hand, had to pay mum and dad board, and what was left was just enough for me to get the bus from Timarua to Upper Hutt Station, the train to Wellington Station, the bus to the airport, do 1 hour's flying, and then do the reverse. It basically took 10 hours to do 1 hour's flying. In fact, a lot of the time only 40 minutes flying. And I did that for just over a year to get my private pilot's licence. That meant you could take people up. Then after that, I just used to take mates away and we'd share the cost and try and build some hours up doing that. I did a bit of tow gliding up at the Kaitoki airstrip, which is right by where we live now. And then I set about doing my commercial exams, my airline transport exams, my instrument exams, and in the meantime just saved and saved and saved and saved. And just before I went to go and do all my flying for my commercial pilot's license, that's 200 hours total you had to have, I got a credit card from the bank, and I think it had about a 2,000 limit on it, which is a ton of money back then. Anyway, went off to Paraparaumu, just to the north of Wellington, and basically did my commercial pilot's licence. Failed the first time with a guy that was notorious for failing people the first time, and, I mean, hilarious, he failed me and then asked, because I was going back into Wellington, if I could give him a ride in my car back to Wellington. I didn't feel like it, but I did. Anyway, got it the second time, and I don't think I flew as well the second time as I did the first time, but anyway. And then I spoke to a friend of the family who worked for the Civil Aviation Authority, and I said to him, I want to do my instrument rating next. Where do you think I should do that? And he said, the only place to do it is Eagle Airways. He said, go up to Eagle Airways. It's probably your best opportunity. So up I went to Hamilton, and then I was basically there for 5 years, managed to get a job in the flying school if I did my instructor rating at Eagle Airways. And I went to mum and dad. It's the only time they helped me out with my flying, because they were determined that I'd do it myself. I think it was a good thing. And mum and dad basically gave me the $1,500 for my 21st birthday present to go and do my instructor rating. So I did that, started flying, instructing, eventually got into the airline there. And then in 1987, I joined Air New Zealand on the Fokker Friendship, Dutch twin-engine turboprop. 12th of January 1987, date I'll never forget. Anyway, back to Awanui NZ. Okay, so very exciting. Off to pick up Vince, coming over from the UK, another Nordhavn owner, and he's going to spend a couple of weeks with me, so should be able to make some good progress again. We'll grab him, get some supplies, might just have a coffee, and then we'll head down towards Saint-Tropez, or plan what we want to do together. Should be a lot of fun. Anyway, in 1989 I met Fiona, and you all know Fiona, Sweetie, Tweedles, and together we had 4 children. Ben, our eldest, I better get this right, he's 32, Christopher is 30, Samuel's 26, and Renee, of course you all know Renee, she's 24. Pretty amazing kids actually. Ben carried on flying in the family, so he's basically with Air New Zealand now. He's done really well. Christopher and Sam just doing an amazing job of running Blossom Valley and Kaitoki and their nursery. I mean, and they're building 3 houses with our nephew, their cousin. So they're just really proud of them. They're doing really well. And of course Renee, she's just taking the world on, working in London and loving every minute of it, and I get to see her more than anybody, I guess, which is pretty special. And along the way, of course, we developed Kaitoki, just a mad moment. I mean, I'm not going to go into that. It was just crazy. 2 young people thought they could do anything. And man, at times we were close to going under. And it's probably my job with Air New Zealand that saved us there a little bit. But we worked really hard. And I mean, if you've seen the videos of Blossom Valley in it now, it's it's a pretty special place, and we're very lucky and very fortunate to have it. Along the way with that too, built about 5 houses ourselves. Our family home, Fiona and I, built from scratch, built all the frames by hand, stood them all up, did everything basically. So it's been a pretty hectic 30 years. My flying career, I mean, I'd do it all again. It's just been an amazing career. Started on the Friendships, went to the Boeing 737. Within 3 years was in the right seat of a 767, basically flying all around the southern hemisphere, bit into the northern hemisphere. And I, probably need to pinch myself about what happened there, because I was only 29 years old, and here I was flying these big aeroplanes all over the world. Then went from there, did my command on the 737, then went to the Jumbo as a co-pilot for 4 years, 747. What an amazing aeroplane, unbelievable aeroplane, probably the most amazing aeroplane. And then went back to the Airbus A320 for 6 years as a captain, and then went off that onto the 787-900 as a captain for 18 months, and then finished my career on the 777. And finished with COVID, basically. Company made us an offer we couldn't turn down. Effectively, if we finished early, retired early, because they wanted to get rid of the 777 when COVID hit, then they'd keep paying us for 2 years. So that was my chance to retire early, get my super, and buy Awanui NZ. So here we are. Anyway, pretty much that is it. But I've never been good, as you're probably aware by now, at slowing down. In fact, I've been atrocious at it. I was the president of the New Zealand Airline Pilots Association for 6 years, and I don't know, it just feels like I've never learnt to do nothing. And if I've got one personal goal for while I have Awanui NZ, and particularly while I'm on my own, is just to learn to be happy in my own space doing nothing. That is my goal, so let's watch this space, eh? Anyway, that's Mark. You asked for it, you got it. Zoom through it quickly if you want to, but that's my story. And here I am at the railway station in Saint-Raphal to pick up Vince. And my cell phone doesn't work when I'm on land because I haven't got a SIM card for Europe. So the agreement is, if we don't see each other, we'll meet at the Ferris wheel. Next part of the adventure begins. I reckon that train at the top is going to be him. 12:23. We shall see. Looks to me like it could be a fattening couple of weeks. Hey? We've got sardines, toast, pommes frites, quite nicely done actually, and a mixed platter. And, oh, Vince, there he is. No, you haven't met him yet, so I can't show you too much of him.
Enjoys it someone we've got it.
So who's Vince?
Hi, Vince is just another Nordhavn owner.
That I met in Southampton.
Southampton, yeah.
Yeah, I just happened to be over there seeing the Nordhavn office, and we've chatted since, so I think we know we can get on. And we're about to go and reap carnage.
We're going to live the dream on the French Riviera.
Yep. All right, so we've left Saint-Raphal behind us there, and just a very nice leisurely 2-hour trip down to Saint-Tropez, very flash. So we're going to go and anchor in here. It's about 10 miles away. Forecast today was for up to 1.5 metre seas, so there you go. There's probably 200 or 300 mil out there at the moment. It's a beautiful day, and it's just blowing about 3 knots. When we left it was blowing 20, so yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, just a nice little run down there. We're going to anchor, and then we are going out for dinner in Saint-Tropez. Right, well here we are anchored right outside Saint-Tropez, and we are going to pop in there. We've spoken to the Capitanere, and we're going to pop in there and we're going to have coffee and a pastry. So not all as bad in the world really, just maybe a little bit less wind, eh? That would be nice, but it's quite nice now. We're off. I never thought I'd come in here in our own boat. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Port de Saint-Tropez. It's great having a deckhand, Vince.
Yeah.
Look at this, I'm getting my tender tied up. Tidies all the lines up. Far out. So we're officially in the off season now. So you can see all the work starts. All the off season work, all the shops are closed. Well, 90% of them are. You can only imagine what a hub of activity this would be in the high season. It would just be chaos. There'd be people everywhere. Louis Vuitton, look. Giorgio Armani. Wow. Real estate, don't think we'll go in there, Vince, eh?
No, not today.
No. Yeah, it's just a quiet little Sleepy Hollow now, isn't it? But I suspect it's very, very busy after a busy summer, getting ready for the next season. And we're looking for a cafe that is in the sun, but we can't find one. So we may be forced to go back to, what was it? Café de Paris.
Café de Paris.
Famous brand apparently. And get our coffee and pastry. Well, there's a couple of coffees with milk. And Vince has gone off to get the pastries, but check this out. €10 for 2 very small coffees. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Either cost of coffee in Europe is extortionate or it's too cheap in New Zealand. One of the two. I'm not quite sure which. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful French pastry. Oh. Look, folks. But check this out. Look at all of that. Welcome to Saint-Tropez. Look at that. Oh. Anyway, the one that we found that we didn't get any, because it's this here. Look at that. I thought it was a cheesecake. It's butter and cream. Oh. Eat your heart out, girls. Wow, what a quirky place. Monsieur? You okay?
Okay.
Wowee. This guy just finds amazing things and turns them into art. Unbelievable. That is a drop tank off a jet fighter and it's turned into a seat. See that?
Yeah.
No prices on anything. If you need to ask the price, you can't afford it. What an amazing shop. Look at that, turbine blade. It's part of a turbine blade, is it?
Yeah, 777.
Yeah, that's what they're like. Look at the shape and the angle of that. 777 turbine blade, eh? What do you reckon some of this stuff costs? Oh, here you go. €3,900. The guy's obviously got an interest in aviation, look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are all these people now? They're all dead. Look at the age of them.
Yeah.
What an amazing place. Look at that. Kirk Douglas. Oh, there'll be some advice comes out of that, people telling you what to do. Goodbye Saint-Tropez. A quiet, sleepy hollow at this time of the year, eh? I suspect I may never see Saint-Tropez again. So today, Vince and I are off to Lavandou, and we have arranged for Dawn and Sean to meet us there, and man, what a trip they've got, because it was 40 hours. That's Lavandou just there. Going to go into a marina. It's 40 hours flight basically from New Zealand to Nice, and then they have to get a train down to I think Marseille, and then the bus back from Marseille to Lavandou. So no, they're not going to Marseille. Yeah, it is to Marseille, yeah. So man, they got a big trip. Anyway, once we've got them on board, pretty much straight away, we are heading over to the Balearic Islands. There they are, Menorca, Mallorca and Ibiza. Big trip. Anyway, here we are coming into Lavandou. It's beautiful actually, but always the case when you're coming into a marina for the first time, if you can't communicate with them and you don't understand whether you're going to be stern to or side on, you end up having to make a call, get your lines ready, and generally speaking in the Mediterranean we get the lines set up at the stern because we are expecting to moor stern to with sidelines down either side of the boat connecting through to the bow. Anyway, when we called them up on the radio, they said, no, we're going to put you right outside our offices, starboard side 2, prime location, absolutely beautiful spot. So poor old Vince, first job he had to do on board the boat really was get out there and change all the lines that we'd spent our time setting up, talking about how we were going to back in. So he hasn't got a chance to do his mid-mooring, which he'd love to do. And he's frankly probably got more experience than me at mooring the boat side on to the dock with his boat. That's what they tend to do in the UK. But here we are coming in, fisherman there on the right. He was quite happy to see us, just waved away. Obviously goes there most days, got all his gear, his bucket, walked off with some fish. They know where to fish. And here we are coming in. Quite a reception committee to meet us. I think there were 3 of them in the end. Nothing was a problem. They just tied the lines up and then they disappeared. Couldn't find them. Didn't see them again for the rest of the day. In the end, and the next morning, we had to go in there, settle the account, and then head off. But absolutely neat place to stay. Again, really reasonable. I think it was 25, 26 euros for the night. Unbelievable, really. Yeah, there they go. Look, here are the 3 people. A little bit of English, not much, but man, they just arrived, gone. Then we went out, found the supermarket, and we met Sean and Dawn, really exciting. Had dinner, and then tucked down for that heading off in the morning to the islands. So here we go. We are off to Menorca today from the Lavandou. Lovely sunrise, and basically we want to get away as early as we can. We'll go into that a little bit later because we've got a weather window that we want to take advantage of. But about a 31-hour trip will just get us going, and we'll get back to you soon with a whole lot more details. Weather not the best, but got to go into that sooner or later, and it's only going to get worse. We've got a nice little window just to get us away. Come back to you soon. So we'll start going, see?
The sun's in the wrong place.
Sorry, what? There's something special in here.
Yes.
So this has come from Ian in Australia. He's one of the followers of the channel who said he just cannot watch me fish the way I was fishing. So he made up a whole lot of lures, and Dawn and Sean had brought it over from New Zealand. So apparently I have to look at something. Oh my god. Oh my god, he sent me a Trump 2024 Make America Great Again. Well, I guess as far as the Americans are concerned, he's going to. Oh, Ian, that is fantastic. And you know what? I've lost my Nordhavn cap.
Oh.
So this, he's got a note. My best mate thought you might like this to remind you of me, Ian. That is so cool. Look at that.
Hey!
Now that's not a political statement. Look at this box of goodies. Oh my goodness. Oh, look what he sent me too. Look. Oh my goodness. Aren't there amazing people out there? Oh, I will go through all that. How cool is that? Okay, so it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll just show you where we are here. We've got 90 miles to run to Menorca. Here's the main Spanish coast on the Mediterranean side. Sardinia out here to the right, Corsica just above Sardinia. So we've come from Saint-Tropez, or Lavandou to be more precise, and it was a 220 mile run down to Menorca. Now there's a bit of a weather window that we had to get to come down here, because over the next 2 to 3 days the weather's going to deteriorate up in the bay here. So if we were going to go, now is the time, and we can expect swells or waves up to about 3 meters maximum just as we're approaching Menorca down here. So when we first started, it was fairly lumpy, winds up to 32, 33 knots. In the middle here, the wind all died off, and then now it's just picking up a little bit again. Over here, we've got the ground wind speed there of 11 knots. And as I've said before, I'm always quite keen to get in daylight. Well, we're probably not going to tonight, to the port of Mahon, which is up here. There we go, it's just in there. Now the problem is that the chart again hasn't downloaded all the contours through here. So we've got Menorca, we have that area selected, and for some reason it's not doing it. So I've got my iPad Active Captain up and running, and it's just sending data the whole time, and you can just see through here it's starting to build. So it'll get that sorted out hopefully. It's just nice knowing where all the contours are. We've been running 3 shifts of 2 hours, Sean, Vince and myself. So we just take a 2-hour stint, and then you've got 4 hours off, 2-hour stint, 4 hours off. So it's not too bad a way to do the night actually. But anyway, once again it just reminds you of why you always, if you can, want to wait for nice weather, because it's just been bang, bang, bang all night. Yeah, so it's hard work, tired, but we'll be in the Balearic Islands in about 12 hours time. Okay, a little bit of carnage in the cabin. Broke a couple of things. She's been pretty rough. I'll just show you out here. Not going to go out, sorry, but anyway. Yeah. So definitely swells well above the deck height there. We're getting quite a bit of breaking water over the bow, not just splashing where the actual bow digs in and water comes over, hits the two doors on the other side and goes out. You can probably see here, when you get a swell come through, it's all of 3 meters because you cannot see the horizon when you're below the crest of the wave. And I know we're about 3 meters once I'm standing up, so it was always forecast to be a little bit like this, up to about 2.1, so not surprised when we get 3. The wind's up at about 20 knots and there's a bit of a cell out there off the boat that's chasing us along a little bit, so we'll just see what happens there. But yeah, certainly the most testing conditions that I've been on the boat yet, but she's handling it beautifully well, and you know, you just have to describe it as unpleasant really. We don't feel unsafe, just unpleasant. Don't know if you can see out there, it's just not safe to go out on the deck, so we're staying inside the cabin, but I'll try and give you a little bit of an idea of what it's like. Yeah, it's been good to see how she's gone. 30 hours, everybody's pretty tired. I think we're going to sleep well tonight and eat well because we did not have a lot of food on board. So we're just 3.5 hours out of Menorca now, and yeah, let's hope it's nice and calm in there, eh? Well, here we are coming into Menorca, just a couple of hours out now. We've always wanted it to be daylight arriving somewhere for the first time, but just took us a bit longer with those pretty heavy seas. We reckon there was the odd swell that went through at about 5 meters because it was well above the deck height of the fly bridge when it was out to the side, but then of course you just bobble up on it like a cork, so it's not like it's actually breaking on you, although there were some waves breaking today, but we managed to stay away from them. Anyway, there is Menorca, 33 hours after we left the Lavandou, and I have to say we're kind of pleased to see it. Starlink's back up and running, so now we're going to find a nice spot to anchor. Welcome to the Balearic Islands. Mahon, eh? Mahon, Menorca. Woohoo! How cool is that? We made it. So this is what we found after our 34-hour trip. The tender has jumped off the chocks, which is really interesting. So anyway, we're going to have to use the crane to bring it back on, and we'll have to look at how maybe we can secure it a little bit better in the future. And over and above all that, this beautiful anchorage that we're at, which has boats all around the edge of the little port area, we've just been moved on by the port authority. So we now have to bring the anchor up and shift to another anchorage or a marina. Great fun. Right, so we're thinking that maybe we got moved on last night from our wonderful anchorage because potentially we have offended the locals. They may have noticed that we had the French flag flying, not the Spanish flag flying. But we decided not to put the Spanish flag up coming in because I think it could have risked life and limb in the weather conditions that we were in. So from a safety perspective we did the right thing, but anyway, can't put it up the wrong way, can you? Stop talking, Mark, do. Welcome to Spain. Here we go. Welcome to Spain. Down the end there. See now that? Look, we've had no bell going. It would have gone off by now. Porto de Mahon. Port de Mahon.
Ya le ves la cara de... ¡Ah!
So whether we pull these two together.
And then we'll get a couple of patés, though.
Oh, they've got chorizo here, Bunny.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to?
Right, pass me all the stuff, eh? With Winston.
Okay, better turn that off.
Oh yeah, okay.
Getting this side on. Right, so today we are just going through this little channel to get out into the Mahon harbour channel, and then we have booked ourselves down the far end here, right there, in a marina for the night, where we are going to get the high pressure hose hopefully and give the boat a very good wash down after getting so much salt on here. Right up to the top there is salt. So the distance down to there, 2.73 miles, and there's some hazards ahead, guys. Cancel the autopilot, and there we go. We're just going to run down the Mahon Harbour channel until we get to the far end.
Okay, old fender's out.
Right, so there we are, parked in Menorca, and just went round and gave it a really good wash down, because man, there was salt everywhere. But nice little marina. Unfortunately we got one of the sidelines caught up in the prop, so we had to get underneath and get that cleaned out last night as well. But yeah, a little bit overcast today, some rain expected, but we are off for a coffee and go and pay for the marina for the night, which was €29. Very, very reasonable. Very reasonable, and nice people. There you go, there's the port we're in, Port Mahon. A couple of ferries there, and it's pretty narrow round to the corner to the right. But interestingly, over there, look at that, a Spanish submarine. You probably can't make it out. But it's a reasonable size, and it looks to me like it's coming onto the wharf. But
¿Tiene jugo en botella? ¿Qué sabor?
This is the place to be. Doesn't look very good for us though, does it?
From New Zealand. Hello. We don't have submarines at home.
Now that is what we call organised. Somewhere where your tenders are welcome. But probably gives you a bit of an idea of how many boats are here in the summer. Hey? So this was quite a tricky little canal. We had to go through it the night before, so you imagine at night for the first time, everything looked very, very close. But you just got to fix your eyes at the far end, and once you've done that, it's relatively easy to keep it nice and straight. And it should just, it'll hold it. That's it. Where otherwise you find you can oversteer all the time, you know. Yeah. See how it's just, and then if you do feel you need to go one way, just the minutest of change, and it'll. Because it's not going fast. Yeah, I mean, look, it's perfect, eh? And I always found in the Corinth, there's a temptation for me to do something, you know, and then at times you just go, no, just let it go. You know, the boat's going in that direction. It wants to keep going there. So I think we go up and face at that. See that big shed?
Yeah.
If you line up with it, that's about where the wind's coming from. Yeah. And so it gives you something to aim towards, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well done. How cool is that? Here we go. Mini Corinth Canal, and it did not cost $600 to go through.